We are live from Johnny Donut Studios, and Oracle is in the laboratory. We're getting ready for the Denver on Sunday. And on Sunday, I will be at the game as always. And I'm going to be at the game right at the top of 246. That's where you'll see me. Look at those bombers right there. Those are some fans of mine. Fans are friends of mine. Who am I fooling? And if you guys are up there, you might see, look at what one of my friends got me.
The My Cosmo. Oh, wow.
I got two of them, but I only wanted to take one out. This is my hot dog. This is a $2.99 hot dog from the stadium. So we will be there Sunday. I will be there with the great Jimmy Wolf. You know Jimmy? He's going to be with me.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be there Sunday at 246. Actually going to have the honors to go to the Dark Side tailgate. And I'll have pictures of that. And Darth Raider and his brother Leonard will be there. Leonard will be a guest on Tuesday's show. Very, very, very knowledgeable guy. So let's get into what's going on, okay? Last week, the Raiders lost a game with which they were tied at 7-7. I don't think in listening to Raider fans this week, I don't really believe that we thought we were in that game. At 7-7, there was some hope, but there was also a couple drives that one was a fourth down where the Raiders defense came up big on a fourth down stop. And then the other one was on interception by Caillou Blue Kelly. Sometimes they call him toast. Sometimes they call him interception. I think he's got, 4 or 5 picks this year?
Something like that. Yeah, he does have a couple of picks.
I would still like to see Darian Porter continue with his rookie sensational season. What I saw, and I'm going to go ahead and let you handle it after this. I was really excited to see, and we're gonna show some tape on Caleb Rogers. He played very well, and then our boy Moffey came in. Looked like they platooned Oracle the first, third, second, and fourth quarters, respectively. And they also let JJ Pegues play, and it looked like Darian Porter was in there. I heard a little bit of this week on Raider Radio when they were talking to Pete Carroll about JJ Pegues, and I'm a big Ole Miss JJ Pegues guy. I love the guy. Yeah. And it's going to be fun when we start winning because he was actually a blocking fullback with athleticism. And we'll bring it when the smoke settled for the season and we have a little time. We're going to show some of that stuff about the rookies we have. JJ Pegues had a little bit of a tougher game this week. Played against a pretty good center and had his troubles. I saw him getting blown off the ball, but he was in there, and he was in there a lot, so they had sample size. We're going to see a little Jack Besh here soon. Deontay Thornton, whatever you want to call him, looked really good on a bubble screen I was excited about, but then got his bell rung, and he was outski. He got himself in concussion protocol, and I guess we can. We'll wait. We'll go into I want to hear your thoughts on what you saw. I was at the Black Hole Party in Sacramento. Let me see that hat, Oracle. Look at that.
Yeah. Thank you again for this hat, Johnny. The TBH, the Black Hole.
From Sacramento.
The Sacramento chapter. Steven Chavez is put on a nice thing up there, especially at Shenanigans. Looks like a good time. A lot of good Raider memorabilia up there. If anyone's in the Sacramento area and they're a Raider fan, they definitely got to get over to Shenanigans and see all the memorabilia that they got on the wall there.
Oh, it was sick. It was so cool.
Hey, Johnny, can I ask you a question? Does the hot dog lady...
You most certainly can, Oracle.
Does the hot dog lady or the hot dog guy, do they know you by first name basis?
They do.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
The same place at the top of 246. Here, let's show that. Of my fans. I mean my friends.
Oh, man.
Fans. And so if you were to go to the right, looking at the picture, go to the right, the $2.99 hot dogs are just about 7 to 10 steps away. And They go in there, and then there's a little stand right there. If you act like you will be a designated driver, which I do sign up for, they actually give you a free Coke. So if you come up to 246, you can have a hot dog with me and a free soda.
All right.
It comes with lemonade too. So that's the top of 246. You see that Raider wall that I stand against, and nobody else can take it. I have security there at 11 o'clock pushing.
I'm sure you do.
Away.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm very famous at the top of 246.
Oh, yeah.
But so going back to back to the Charger game, third quarter got out of hand. I think that when you're a good team, you make good adjustments. And I'm not saying that the Raiders coaches can make many adjustments, especially with the offensive line. I do believe that some of the adjustments they made on defense, they did the best they could. We did see a good play where Caillou Blue Kelly and Jeremy Chin did a nice little handoff in the corner of the end zone, so Kelly could get himself an interception. So enough of my jab. At the end of the day, the better team won. The betterly coached team won, and the team that had the best offensive line, defensive line, and running back, that was brutal, won the game. Oracle, from your side, when you were watching it on TV in the confines of the laboratory, what did you see?
Well, on a positive note, it was really nice to see Brock Bowers get going a little bit in this game. And that's what Raider fans really want to see. Look, on a downtrodden team that unfortunately the Raiders have had this year, we want to see some flash players make some flash plays. And Brock Bowers was able to get 2 touchdowns. That was a good touchdown right there where Geno was able to find him in the end zone. The safety of the Chargers got put in conflict a little bit there. Do I defend Trey Tucker? Do I defend Brock Bowers? And he goes after Tucker a little bit. Brock Bowers is able to kind of give a little shimmy fake like he's going to run to the corner of the end zone, but then he cuts back towards the middle of the field. And that's, again, another great example of the great route running, the great balance, the great hip fluidity that Brock Bowers is able to show. What's up, Johnny?
Bro, no, I said boom.
Yeah, definitely. And, he makes another play where Geno's able to get the ball out quick, and he's in a one-on-one situation, and he just makes a sensational catch in the corner of the end zone. He's down at the top of the screen, and good throw by Geno to put it only where Brock Bowers could get it. And Brock Bowers is able to make a play. So look, it's good that we're able to see some things with a player that we have a player to build around. And this is definitely something going forward that the Raider fans are able to get excited about. I thought it was actually one of the better days for the offensive line too, especially after giving up 10 sacks to the Cleveland Browns. They're able to come back and protect a little bit better for Geno Smith. And the Chargers, they don't have as good of a defensive line as the Cleveland Browns do, but they have some guys. I mean, I think Tuli Tuipulotu has developed into a pretty good player for the Chargers. He was able to make some plays in the run game. He was able to get some pressure a little bit. Khalil Mack is not the same player, but he's still a guy you got to account for. Derwin James could come flying off the edge. And sometimes the Chargers, Jesse Minter is able to scheme him up to where he could be a free rusher. And he got Geno one time in the game. So, look, it wasn't perfect by the offensive line. You can't expect a whole lot out of this offensive line. Raider fans know that by now. But I think if it's able to not be a complete disaster, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction for the Raiders. And on the defensive side of the ball, there were a couple good things, but there were a couple plays where I thought Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert did a really good job at attacking the predictability and understanding the rules and principles of how the defense of the Raiders is taught, and kind of putting these defenders, especially the linebackers, the safeties, in tough situations where they have to commit to one receiver. And when they commit to one receiver, that happens to leave a guy a little bit open, or they're able to get a linebacker matched up on a receiver that's able to lead to a gimme touchdown, kind of like here.
Let's talk about that right there. But before we do that, let me go back to this play right here. This is what I'll tell you what, Raider fans, from week 1 to week 13, there's somebody in here that I really loved watching in this play, and which name isn't Brock Bowers. And Oracle, why don't you talk about what I loved in this play? And let's go ahead and let's start it from the start here.
Yeah, so I think you're talking about Ashton Jeanty here.
Yes.
And
so what we're doing right here is go ahead. We're figuring out coverages right here, and then the Chargers try to do a backside on Bowers' side. Talk about that and show how you always say, let's eat. I mean, it's time to eat, so let's eat.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, Janty's going to motion in. He's in the he's kind of flexed out wide. He's going to motion into the backfield right here, and the Chargers are going to run cover 0, and that means 6 Chargers are going to rush the quarterback. And when there's 6 rushers rushing the quarterback, there's 5 guys in coverage. Now, there's only 5 offensive linemen, so that means the running back has to help in pass protection here, and he's going to have to get one of the inside linebackers here. And Jeanty has gotten much better. He's going to block Deion Henley, number 0 there. And by that block right there, that's able to give Geno just enough time to get the ball out to Bowers in a one-on-one situation right there. And this is something that we talked about last week, is Jeanty's kind of becoming a little bit more of that complete running back, not just a downhill runner in inside and outside zone, not just a receiver out of the backfield who's able to make some plays. But this is the third, and this is the part where running backs really struggle coming into the NFL, is being able to identify the right guy to pick up when there's a blitz coming, because these defensive coordinators will try to trick you. They're going to try to blitz, look like a couple guys are blitzing, drop a guy out into coverage, and then there's a free guy coming, and then the running back has to pick up that guy in pass protection. So Janty's able to pick up the right guy and give Geno just enough time here.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it would scared me the first couple, even in Washington. It was like, remember when I showed that play where he's going, doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
He just didn't know. And again, this guy came from Mountain West Conference. You know, there's good defenses, but they're not SEC defenses. So I'm very, very happy with the Ashton Jeanty. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'll call it right here. If this guy gets offensive line help, and I know that, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to have that. If they don't, Raider fans aren't going to want to watch his team next year if they don't do something about the offensive line. And we'll talk about a good addition that they had this week with Malfi and Caleb Rogers. So back to the defense. We're going to go ahead, and that was a cover 0. Remember, cover 0, because we're going to have a test for you guys. We're going to go over the Raiders' number 1 coverages and what other teams do and other teams don't do, and what the percentages are. And why are we still doing these things? Maybe because we do have a young team. Oracle, back to this play where you are just beside yourself.
Yeah. So first of all, do you mind go back to the start?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we have here at the bottom of the screen, so this is a 5 wide receiver set right here. So there's no running back in the backfield. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see 3 receivers down at the bottom. You're going to see Oronde Gadsden, who's going to be on the right hash. You're going to see Quentin Johnston, who's going to be in the slot right to the right of Oronde Gadsden. Those are the 2 guys in this play that you really got to pay attention to. And then, so that is the strong side of the passing formation right there. Now, the Raiders, when Justin Herbert is able to see this right here, he has an understanding that the Raiders, just to answer Johnny's trivia question right here, the main coverage that the Raiders run is cover 3. And this is kind of a cover 3 look right here. And the main reason you're able to see that is you see Lonnie Johnson, who is in the end zone. He's right below the G right here. He's the single high, kind of the center fielder in cover 3 right there. Now, we have Devin White, who is kind of right on the right, to the left of the right hash right there. And then we have Jamal Adams, who's just to the left of the left hash right there. Those are what's called the hook defenders. And the hook defenders are the guys that play right in the middle of the field in cover 3. And then you have Jeremy Chin, who's lined up over Quentin Johnston. He's going to be one of the flat defenders. And then you have Troy Polamalu, who's kind of right above the 10. He's going to be the other flat defender. However, when this ball snaps, I want you to take a look at Oronde Gadsden first, the tight end right on the right hash. And I want you to take a look at Jamal Adams and Lonnie Johnson, because you're going to see, you could go ahead and run it. You're going to see Jamal Adams is going to cover Oronde Gadsden in man coverage, and Lonnie Johnson is going to cover Oronde Gadsden too. So there's kind of a little bit of a mistake right here. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that you would have two guys covering one tight end. And what that does is that leaves Devin White one-on-one with Quentin Johnston running across the middle of the field. And poor Devin White is a linebacker, and he has to cover a wide receiver in a one-on-one situation.
A fast wide receiver. Very fast wide receiver.
Really fast wide receiver. And Herbert looks to his left, and he knows he has the matchup right here because he knows the play call. He knows Quentin Johnston is going to run across the field. And since they run a lot of cover 3, Devin White or Jamal Adams is going to be the hook defender. Because Jamal Adams covers Oronde Gadsden running deep, that leaves Devin White as the only hook defender right there. And there's no one else to help him. Now, in that play, I'm not sure if Jamal Adams was supposed to pass Oronde Gadsden off to Lonnie Johnson because what Oronde Gadsden does is he runs right into center field, and Lonnie Johnson's a center fielder. But Lonnie Johnson needs to understand that Jamal Adams is covering Oronde Gadsden in man, essentially. So Lonnie needs to get off Oronde Gadsden, and he needs to go help Devin White, who's in a one-on-one situation. Because Lonnie Johnson is a little late getting to help, it's a touchdown. If he could have been running over to Oronde Gadsden a little earlier, they could have maybe stopped him at the 2 or the 1 yard line.
Yeah, and again, Jamal Adams, this is his first year playing linebacker. I'm not going to give him any, a pass on that, because that should be all sorted out in their defense when they're doing their Thursday defensive coverages. And again, Oracle Pete Carrollton this week was asked about his reluctance to why he runs cover 3. Pete Carroll is living in the past. This is what somebody else says. I don't want to. This is what I'm. Let's strike that. NFL teams running 40% or more cover 3 are a combined 15 and 34 this season. Okay, 15 and 34. Now Pete Carroll defended himself and said, "Well, a lot of teams are still running cover 3, and cover 3 is effective because it's a simplified." It's a simplified defense, and it is simplified. Oracle, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let you talk about this, and then we could talk about the chart. What is your thoughts if you're an offensive coordinator for the other team? Say you're Sean Payton this week, and you're going like this. That's all they do is run cover 3.
Yeah, well, it gives the offense. It's funny. Pete Carroll said that one of the things he likes about cover 3 is he wants to get these players to understand the basics. Now, that's great. That, in theory, that does sound great. You're able to kind of simplify things and make the players play fast, not have to think about too many different things. But at the same time, you got to think about the offense, who's your opponent. And you got to think about how the offense understands that they don't have as much to think about at that point either. Now, the offense, you got to remember in football, they get to be proactive. They get to call plays that get to attack how the defenses run their tendencies. Defenses are reactive to what the offense does more often than not. So when you have a tendency where the Raiders are running 55% cover 3, the next closest team I see is the Carolina Panthers, who are running it at 44%. That shows that you're a statistical outlier. And it shows that, you're really kind of making things very easy to go into their meetings in Monday and Tuesday and say, hey, what are our best cover 3 beaters that we could run? And you're able to kind of see what the Raiders do with certain formations, how they attack certain route concepts. And you're able to practice those route concepts because you have a very good understanding of what you're going to be facing from the Raiders. So a lot of defenses that are really good nowadays, like the Denver Broncos, who we're going to see this weekend, they kind of run a little bit of everything, a little bit of.
Wow, great comment there. Look at that. They are all across the board. They're even almost on every one of their coverages. The only thing that they're I mean, and again, they actually run a little bit more cover 2 man than any of the other teams. But if you look at that, Oracle, that's a great point you just made. Look at the percentages. They're not in the 30s in anywhere. They're all around the 20s. 40. So what does that mean, Oracle?
Well, that means Geno Smith is going to the line, and he has to really kind of not guess, but have to have a more of understanding of, I don't know what I'm going to get. And I really have to think post-snap. I have to dissect what the defense is in. And when you have a team like Denver, who puts a lot of guys in the line of scrimmage, they run a lot of simulated pressures. They blitz the nickel back a lot. And one of the things that Denver likes to do on defense, they like to put both their linebackers in the A gap. So they'll have both their inside linebackers in between the guards and the centers. Now, what that does is it forces the offensive linemen and the running backs to have to account for those 2 inside linebackers in their protection plans, because the fastest way to a quarterback is a straight line. So those 2 inside linebackers are the most dangerous men to attack the quarterback. Now, once they get the offenses, the running back and the offensive lineman to understand that, they will drop those 2 inside linebackers, and then they will blitz a nickel back who is not accounted for in the protection scheme. And knowing all that, knowing that they do stuff like that, and then you have to identify, are they in cover 2? Are they in cover 3? Are they in cover 4, cover 6? Is it man coverage? Is it cover 0? Is it cover 1? Is it cover 2? That's a lot to think about. And when you have a guy like Geno Smith, who knows he doesn't have the best offensive line, knows that if it's not Brock Bowers, it's probably Trey Tucker, you're really left with not a lot of stuff to work with there. You have to really think a lot, and you're forcing your offense to not play fast. So it really, when you have multiplicity in your defensive scheme, you're able to throw a lot on the quarterback's plate to think about of, if this happens, what do I do? But what if this happens? So it makes the quarterback a little more indecisive.
Right. Okay. So again, watching football my whole life, I always loved and still do. I don't care what game it is. Anytime I see the AFC North play, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, they're bruisers. And they love to come up, their linebackers in the A gap, going like this. Here, are we coming? Are we coming? Are we coming? Immediately, your guard and your center on both sides of the guards on both sides of the center, they have to communicate really, really fast. And that's a split-second decision as soon as that ball snapped. So if they just make the wrong move and some guy's got a great move on the inside, they could come up the middle. Wink Martindale, who I like, Michigan defensive coordinator, big-time Ravens guy, used to love to do that stuff. He loved to show zero blitz on every play and then drop into coverage. Because what it would do is, if you have a very inexperienced offensive line or you have injuries on your offensive line, like what happens to every team in the NFL during the start of a season, they're going to find out if you know how to communicate. And if you're not a very good communicating offensive line, which we've seen so far with the Raiders this year, which I'm going to show that looked a lot better this last weekend, you're SOL. And that's just the way it is. Oracle, did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
I had a pretty good Thanksgiving. Yeah, definitely. Me and my mom kind of volunteered a little bit at a place. I got to watch a lot of the games. I had to do a little bit of schoolwork too on Zoom, kind of a weird situation, but I was able to watch some of the games. I was able to hang out with family. And what about you? How was everything? How was the linguiça up in the Bay Area?
Linguiça's amazing. It was as good as watching Caleb Rogers here. So we have the new Friday show. We're calling it the Geek Squad because we are geeks. We want geeks following us on Fridays. If you love to watch film and like to learn, because we're learning, Oracle's great at teaching. This is the show you want. So back to the Raiders playing the rookies. We have a lot of plays of Caleb Rogers, and we're going to go ahead and show him. And obviously, he's right there. I got to see a lot of his running plays were really, really positive, and I see that even on the screen. He got out there pretty nicely. But I was really impressed with him. I mean, here he's holding him, and he actually gets counted for a sack there. But I mean, that could have been a coverage sack right there. But see here, stop it, John. Okay, go back. What the Raiders have gotten, and this guy, remember, he's from Texas Tech. These guys threw a lot of footballs in the air. So watch this play right here. Okay, he gets up. Okay, they're running a stunt. He's not biting. He's staying in his spot. He's looking for somebody on the backside blitzing. And that was one thing that JPJ he'd want to hit somebody so bad. He would go ahead and hit anybody and everybody and lose his contain, and they would blitz the backside. I was impressed with this kid this week. Him and Mafi. Look at this. Comes up. Look, still trying to eat. And it's just going to take time for this guy to come in and play well.
You know, the one thing that you hear a lot with offensive linemen is low man wins. And I think he does a really good job at actually being the low man, especially in the running game. The one thing I think Caleb Rogers needs to work on a little bit is getting a little more power in his game and being able to finish blocks a little bit more, whether that's in the weight room, whether that's running with the sled to kind of develop a lot of more power in your glutes and in your thighs and get that kind of explosiveness when you're going forward. But I really think he's fundamentally sound. Sometimes the problem with DJ Glaze is he has a tendency to get a little bit too high and a little too jumpy, and he could kind of get off his base a little bit. But I think Caleb Rogers, in the 17 plays I saw, he has a pretty good base. He's able to stay low. I would just like to see him get a little bit more power in his game, and I think he could be a better player if that happens.
Oh, man. Dylan Parham just looked horrible. Just a bad look. Just a horrible look. That was tough. That was tough to watch. So we did get the rookies. We got it. Everybody got their wish. John Spytek got his wish. Oh, there's your puppy behind you. Yay. We got it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and start looking at the Denver Broncos. And here's a play that Oracle just loves. This is what you want in a middle linebacker right here.
I mean, so many good players on this Denver defense. We think about Patrick Surtain winning Defensive Player of the Year last year. We got Nick Bonito, who's come along as one of the best pass rushers in football. Zach Allen, who still leads the NFL in quarterback hits at 31, and Myles Garrett has 30. I think the most underrated player in the NFL. But this is a guy, Alex Singleton, who I think he had
cancer. He had testicular cancer.
He had a cancer diagnosis that happened like 2 weeks ago, and he's still able to come out.
I think he had the surgery, but don't quote me. But I think he was out because he did have the surgery.
Yeah, I wish I would have looked a little more into that. But at the same time, coming out, and he is Denver's best inside linebacker right here. They rotate a couple guys. But here he is. He's the Tampa 2 middle linebacker. So Tampa 2 is a little bit different than regular cover 2. It's kind of like a little bit of mix of cover 3 and cover 2 together. What Tampa 2 is, it's a 2 deep shell where you have the 2 safeties who are playing deep, but you also have a middle linebacker who is playing the kind of shallow center field in the middle of the field. And what in Tampa 2, you're going to see Zach Ertz, who's on the ball and at the bottom of the screen. He's going to run a vertical route right into Alex Singleton, who's on the right hash. Now, it's a 2 deep shell, and Alex Singleton in Tampa 2 has to understand that if the number 3 receiver runs vertical, he has him in man coverage. That's when zone becomes man. So Alex Singleton has Zach Ertz run by him, but he's able to stay with him. He's able to stay balanced, and he's able to recover when Zach Ertz makes the catch, and he's able to follow through and punch the ball out right there. And that's just a tremendous play right there by Alex Singleton. It's just a really great play of hanging in there, of just kind of really having, he's overcome the health scare right there. He's able to recover, and then he's able to recover when he gets beat by Zach Ertz running down the middle of the field. So just a lot of guys in this Denver defense that you really have to account for.
Yeah, and watching this play again, I was really impressed the whole game on how well the Redskins. I said the Redskins. Did I say the Redskins?
You did, yeah.
Okay. Watch them cut. They rushed 4, but Mariota's got time. And
I'll be honest with you, Johnny. I thought this was Mariota's best game of his career.
He threw the ball well. He did. He threw the ball well. He looked like an
really
NFL quarterback. He doesn't look like Lamar Jackson trying to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Because they're very similar quarterbacks.
Definitely, yeah. So, a lot of this Denver defense that you got to prepare for. I mean, definitely what we saw the last time the Raiders played the Broncos was Nick Bonito really had his way with DJ Glaze. Pat Surtain didn't play in last game against the Raiders, and now he's going to be playing. I'm going to be curious to see how much Pat Surtain lines up on Brock Bowers and tries to take him away.
He'll be there the whole time.
Yeah, because last time they had Jahdae Barron on him a lot in man coverage, and now they're probably going to put Pat Surtain on him. And let's see who they put on Trey Tucker. So maybe it's going to have to be a game where Geno looks to Trey Tucker as his primary read.
Well, he definitely missed Oracle. Look at Steven loves that hat. Loves that.
How do you not? I mean, look.
Hat. That's so
gotta love shenanigans.
So the big talk besides always Geno during the week, and we'll get into the Fernando Mendoza sweepstakes in a minute here, has been the Raiders need to get a number 1 to relieve Brock Bowers to get him on a linebacker again. And they were trying to say, a lot of people, and I watched the all 22, Trey Tucker was open, but Geno Smith had no time. They're like, Geno didn't get him the ball. Now here's the catch 22. If Geno throws the ball while he's on his back foot and throws a pick, then you have all these guys, these TMZers that are like, well, they threw more interceptions. Why doesn't he just get rid of the ball? Again, guys, he has no time to throw the ball. None. When he does have time to throw the ball, he doesn't do a bad job. There's stuff that he still zones in on his receiver, and I wish he wouldn't. But guys, this guy's getting hammered. And I don't know if you've ever played quarterback, even in a tackle football game or a touch football game or a flag football game. If there's people in your face, it's hard to manifest what's going on in front of you, especially when these guys are 6'5", 240 and can run a 4.4 40. So let's go ahead and put on the Bo Nix. What did you think about Bo Nix's game last week?
I thought Bo Nix has played pretty well. I thought he hung in there. The one thing about Bo Nix that I really like is I think he's a very smart quarterback. He's the coach's son. He will make some bad decisions here and there, but I think he's a very confident player. I think he does I think Denver actually puts a lot in his plate too.
Yes.
And they really don't, especially with J.K. Dobbins going down, they don't have as much of a run game. And ever since he came in last season, we're going to see right here, it's a play to Cortland Sutton.
Talk about the play, because you broke it down real good in the pregame here.
So I want you to watch the corner when we go back and rewind it. Watch the corner at the top right here to the left of 50. Bo Nix is reading him. He wants to throw it to Cortland Sutton, who's running the deep out initially, but he still sees that the corner's eyes are on Bo Nix right there.
Let's watch it from that side again. And let me slow it down, because that's a great point. He waits for him. He waits him open.
Yeah. So Cortland Sutton, he could rip it right about here. But if you see
on the
corner,
50, he's on the 50-yard line right now.
Yeah. If you see the corner, who's the deep corner to the left of the 40, Bo Nix sees that corner's still watching him. So he knows that he could make a break on that ball right there. So he smartly and patiently does not throw that ball, understanding that there's only 3 guys rushing, understanding he has one of the best offensive lines in the league, and then he's able to see Courtland Sutton ad-lib and run up the field, understand that a nickel's on him, and he's able to make a good throw to him off a second reaction play. So the first reaction was to hit the out route, but because the corner was watching, he was able to hold the ball, and I'm not going to throw a bad decision. And then he's able to wait a little bit for Courtland Sutton to work downfield, and he's able to throw it right in the right location for Courtland Sutton to make a play. So, look, Courtland Sutton's he was drafted by the Broncos in 2018. His best 2 seasons have been the 2 seasons that Bo Nix has been a starting quarterback for this team. So, look, Bronco fans could be all upset about, there are times we don't think Bo Nix is that good. There are other quarterbacks in the AFC that are better. But I'll tell you what, if you ask Courtland Sutton how good Bo Nix is, I think he will say, man, thank God that we have him, because ever since we've had him, I've had the best 2 seasons of my career.
And ever since Bo Nix came onto the Broncos, Sean Payton's learned how to coach football again. Imagine that.
Yeah. The Bo Nix pill.
He got a Bo Nix pill and got really smart. And I believe with the Raiders have to do this week, is if they can't get pressure with 4 immediately, they're going to have to start blitzing this guy. And this guy has just really, especially it seems like in the fourth quarter, he seems like it heats up. There's another quarterback in the AFC West that does the same thing in the fourth quarter. He heats up. He doesn't get as much bad press as Bo Nix does, but in my opinion, Bo Nix, he is a winner. He's won.
Yes.
He's won ever since he was at Auburn all the way up till he was in Oregon. That you had to kill him to beat him. And I just have so much respect for that guy. So, Oracle, give me the keys to the game, and then we're going to get on to what you Raider fans, if you really are a Raider fan, what you want to have to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to have to dig deep tomorrow there, Raider fans. Keys of the game.
Well, I think on offense, it's going to be a game where they're going to have to max protect a lot more, especially because the Broncos run a lot of simulated pressures. They run a lot of plays where they get easy pressure quick because they're able to fool the offensive line. They're able to fool the running backs and the quarterback. So DJ Glaze is going to need some help, definitely on Nick Bonito. I think it might be a game where we need Ian Thomas to play a lot of snaps. We're going to have Ashton Janty step up in pass protection a little bit more. If that means that we're only getting 2 or 3 guys in a route, I think so be it. But I think that's going to be the best chance to make some plays as opposed to getting sat on a lot of plays and having no chance. So I think on offense, they're definitely going to have to make sure that this offensive line is not in a lot of situations where it's 5 guys who are only pass protection and getting 5 guys out in a route, because that's just not going to be a recipe to work against Denver. Vance Joseph's going to dial up a lot of ways to get pressure and attack you, and they are going to have a lot of numbers in the protection scheme to be able to counter that. I think on defense, we talked about Courtland Sutton. The other guy who's really come along for Denver a little bit is Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram actually led the team last week in catches and receiving yards. Evan Ingram, if Devin White doesn't step up, if Jamal Adams was limited today in practice, Jeremy Chin didn't participate, both are questionable. Who's going to step up if they don't play? Does that mean Landon Roberts is going to have to play more of a 3-down role? Is he going to have to play coverage more? What do they do if Jeremy Chin's not on the field? Do they maybe put Caillou Blue-Kelly in the slot and leave Darian Porter as the other corner, and Darian Porter plays more snaps because of it? Do they put Darnay Holmes in its slot?
That's what I think is going to happen.
Do they maybe, or do they maybe play Greedy Vance a little bit? What do you think about that, Johnny?
Greedy Vance has been one of those guys. He's from USC. Love the kid.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. Hold on, let me get my.
Me too.
My hot cocoa. Greedy Vance is an interesting player. I watched a lot of USC. I like USC. I'm not a fan of USC, but I like watching USC since we're in Southern California. They force feed us, so I like to watch them. And ever since then, the guy has a knack for the ball. he's got a good sense of he's a little smaller than what Pete Carroll likes. He's not Pete Carroll's prototypical quarterback, but I do like Greedy Vance. I see him a lot like a Meek Robertson.
Yeah.
Where he's going to be really good on coverage, very crafty on the ball, but if there's a bigger receiver, I could see problems, but I want to see him play. And it sounds like what Carroll said this week, that he's excited to see him play too. So there you go. Another rookie that's going to be in there playing for the Raiders this weekend. I'm really looking to see if Lonnie Johnson can step up. That guy's played good in spaces. He's like Dylan Parham. He looks good, and then all of a sudden he doesn't. And that's kind of the same way he was with the Texans too. He was that guy who had a really good playoff game against the Chiefs, and then got smoked the next week. It's like to me, it's just it's tough for me to be confident in those guys. I still want Caleb Downs, guys. I'm sorry. We're going to show you. That's going to be my little segue into our next and last for the day. So, what game are you looking forward to watching tomorrow, Oracle? There's two.
Definitely the Indiana-Ohio State game. Now, look, there's a lot of talk about, are the Raiders going to maybe draft a quarterback at the top of the round? Is that Fernando Mendoza? Is it Ty Simpson? Is it Dante Moore out of Oregon? But we get an opportunity to maybe see Fernando Mendoza in what's going to be his biggest game of his college football career, and then Ty Simpson in his biggest game of his college football career to this point. If they make when they make the playoffs, they're going to have bigger games then. But tomorrow we get an opportunity to really see them on a big stage. And a couple things that I think we really got to look at between Mendoza and Simpson, because it's kind of like who's better. That's kind of the debate right now. The one thing you got to understand is college starts. Bill Parcells had a rule where he wanted to see a college quarterback have a certain amount of starts. And with Ty Simpson has only 12 career college starts to his career so far. Tomorrow will be 13. Fernando Mendoza has 30 college starts. Tomorrow will be 31. So a lot of talk of, is Ty Simpson going to come out? He's a redshirt junior. But does he maybe look at the landscape if he doesn't play well tomorrow and go, I only have 13 college starts. Do I need more starts if I want to be that top prospect I want to be? Now, Fernando Mendoza has the starts. And this is an opportunity, if he plays well tomorrow, where he'll be thought of as one of the top quarterback off the board. And a lot of good things with Mendoza. He's 6'5". He's from Miami. He played at Cal, so went across the country to play college football, did well at Cal. And then he went over to Indiana, and he's continued to his success there. I mean, this Indiana team has really become one of the top programs in all of the country after the NIL era. And who would have thought that? Who would have thought Indiana and Texas Tech would be the teams to really emerge as the two kind of emerging powers with that?
Yeah.
So,
which is cool, which is really cool because, you never heard of Indiana. Indiana was a basketball school.
Definitely.
And now that coach has done exactly what Dan Lanning has done in Oregon. They're a defensive team. They really are. I mean, if you look at Fernando Mendoza's stats, he doesn't throw much over 30 attempts a game. He's an under 30 attempt guy. And I love Fernando Mendoza. I'm a Cal guy. Me and Dave Freitas are Cal guys. I mean, Kurt Uska, we're all Cal guys. And so I saw Fernando Mendoza 2 years ago, and I was like, whoa, this kid is great. And, Cal's kind of an up-and-coming school. I could see them actually getting better and better and better. Their coaching's better. They're a hot and cold team this year. But as far as Mendoza goes, dang, man, he lit it up for Cal. He won some big games for Cal. And this year I had a really fun time watching him. But again, I'm reluctant. I'm almost sipping the Fernando Mendoza Kool-Aid right now. He's starting to remind me of what Drake May looked like his last year in college. So tomorrow I'm bated breath. Every play, every throw, everything he does, because he's not playing. He's only played one top 10 team this year and only 2 top 20 teams this year. So he's gotten to, beat up against a lot of teams. And, as Indiana rises next year, they'll have a lot more teams that'll be tougher on their schedule because they'll want to get those TV games. And so right now he's playing a lot of teams that aren't really testing him. Tomorrow, Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs are going to come for this guy. He's definitely going to be tested tomorrow. And that whole team is going to be tested tomorrow. It's going to be interesting, since we're talking about that game, is to watch their quarterback saying he's actually from Carlsbad.
Yeah.
He's a freshman who you're going to be hearing a lot about in the next 3 years, fellas. This kid is young. He dominated Carlsbad. And I forget, he was supposed to go to another SEC school.
He went to Bama for a little. I think he either went to Bama for a year or he was supposed to go, but left because Nick Saban left.
Right. Because he was, and then there was another receiver on the team that was either going to LSU or Georgia. But back to Fernando Mendoza, I'm starting to sip the Kool-Aid. And what is Kurt Huskers? Put the Kool-Aid down. We need linemen. You know what, Husk? That's a great point. But Fano is probably the top offensive lineman in the draft, and he's not really what the draft experts call top 5 pick, and that's what you're going to have as a top 5 pick. And for any reason that Pete Carroll doesn't come, the reason Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel went where they went is because each of those programs had a quarterback in place.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Ben Johnson did come to, and I mean, you don't think Tom Brady couldn't have talked Mike Vrabel into coming to the Raiders? Problem with is Mike Vrabel saw Drake May, and Ben Johnson saw Caleb Williams. So a lot of talk, which makes sense. And I don't listen to all the TMZers because they're jumping on that Kool-Aid right now that, you know what, if Pete Carroll doesn't survive, the only way you're going to get a top-notch coach in here is to get a top-notch quarterback, top-notch young quarterback that he can actually grow with the team. So watch a little bit of Fernando Mendoza. Sorry about I had to pull this off. This is a Cal tape. And right here, this guy has some touch, and they're going to go ahead, rewind it, and then watch this right there. That's a beautiful play. Oracle, you made a great point when you and I were talking earlier about college and RPOs and when you're judging a quarterback, and especially with the college quarterbacks, always in the shotgun and the RPOs. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about that? Because for our guys at home tomorrow, when they are watching Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and Deontay Moore, who may or may not come out this year, we don't know. A lot of Raider fans love Deontay Moore.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about when our fans, our friends, or whoever is out there listening to us from the Geek Squad, what are they going to be looking for when they look at these quarterbacks that we covet?
So a lot of times we hear, oh, this team is running a college offense. But what exactly does that mean? Now, college has different rules for how far the lineman can be downfield when the quarterback throws the ball. And why is that important? Because what the RPOs, what's called a run pass option, is all about is it's about tricking the linebackers and getting them confused and making them think, are they running the ball or are they passing the ball? Now, an RPO, what the quarterback does is he goes to the line of scrimmage and he is keying in on a certain second level defender, whether it's a weak side linebacker, whether it's a box safety. And what they're trying to understand is when when I show handoff, does the linebacker that I'm putting into conflict, does he crash down, or does he cover the receiver running a slant route or an out route, or does he backpedal? And here's the difference between the college and the pros. The lineman in college can go 3 yards down the field before a quarterback can throw the ball. In the NFL, the lineman could only go 1 yard down the field before a quarterback can release a pass. And that's very important to understand when you're evaluating these quarterbacks in college, because what I'm saying is that a lot of these plays, these RPOs that they're getting yards on, especially passing yards on, are not going to be transferable. They're going to be slightly transferable, but it's going to be different because the rules are different in the NFL. And the ways that they're able to attack defenses in college, because when think about it, if you're a linebacker and you have a lineman that's coming down. Now, the other thing that we talk about with college offenses, and this has been brought up with Chip Kelly before and how he's had to adjust in coming to the NFL at the Raiders, is the hash marks. In the NFL, the hash marks are kind of like this. In college, they're like this. So if the ball is placed here and you have 3 receivers over here, that spaces out the corner, the nickel, and the linebacker a lot further. Now, when you fake a handoff, the second level defenders have to maintain their gap integrity in the run game. And if a quarterback pulls it back, the second level defenders then have to get into their passing lanes. And because there's more space on this side of the field, the linebackers have to cover not only their gaps in the run game, but then they have to cover their coverage assignments in their zones or man. So what that does is it gives the quarterback a lot more space to pick up between the receiver and then the second level defenders. So there's a much more of a clear, and combine that with the linemen who have an opportunity to run downfield more to really sell the run, that gives a lot of quarterbacks easy completions on a lot of these RPOs where it's a quick slant because the linebacker came in to defend his run gap, and then there's a wide open slant, wide open out, wide open hitch. So it makes it a little bit easier for the quarterback to have these completions at the college level. And those are the things you got to really understand. And those are the things you got to look tomorrow and understand how many RPOs are they running, because some of these RPOs won't be transferable to the NFL.
Right. And again, so what he's again, basically in a nutshell, for me to understand what he's saying is the field is moved over. So the wide side of the field is about 5 yards bigger. If you ever see college kickers, they always kicking at an angle. They don't ever get straight down the middle like that because the hash marks are so far in. The hash marks are out. So now the ball's over here. In pros, it's here. So instead of having this much of the room in the pros with faster, quicker, bigger guys, okay, then the offensive lineman can only go here. He's got this big of a window. Now in college, it's this far, okay? They're here. You got the whole side of the field. The lineman can go here now. That's 3 yards. So those linebackers are going, and they have to react. So one good thing that happens out of this is you get to see how good your linebackers are in coverage. That's you know what, like a guy like Arvell Reese, number 8 tomorrow in Ohio State. This guy is what you call a stud linebacker. He's a cover linebacker. He's a pass rush linebacker. He is going to be the first player non-quarterback picked in this year's draft. By far, count it, put your money on it. It's going to happen. This kid is unreal. I've watched him, and I'm always looking at who doesn't do something good. And this kid he does everything well. Another guy you're going to watch tomorrow, John Sousa's number 1 draft choice. If we don't get a quarterback, I don't want Ty Simpson. 11 games. Who else didn't play? Who also had 11 or 12, 13 games? Anthony Richardson. They're trying to get rid of him. Everybody, hey, you want Anthony Richardson? We'll take your punter. They can't get rid of him. Okay, so you're enamored by this guy, Ty Simpson, because you see him at 5:30 on Saturday. And most people haven't watched college football till last week or this week. This is when everybody becomes I call it the March Madness for football. Everybody now is cold. They're in their house and they're watching football as opposed to watching the whole year. 3 weeks for the last 3 weeks, that kid has not played well. But then he played, now all of a sudden, if he plays well in this game against Georgia, which I don't think he will, but if he does play, we need Ty Simpson. Yeah, I'm a no, you don't. Stay away. Buyers beware. Stay with Geno. Wait till next year when all the quarterback. If you can't get Fernando Mendoza, if Fernando Mendoza is your guy, there's nobody else. Some people like Dante Moore. If that's going to get a good coach in here, maybe there is positives I see, Oracle, about Dante Moore. I do like him. He was a highly recruited guy out of high school. Goes to a great college, and he's played well. Has he played superstarish? No, not in my opinion. He hasn't. He's got good legs, and that's always a plus. But if you're gonna watch a kid tomorrow, it's going to be your Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese, number 8, Caleb Downs. So tomorrow, write it down, folks. 15 on Indiana, 8 on Ohio State, and number 2. John Sousa's favorite, Caleb Downs. This guy is Ed Reed meets Troy Polamalu. That guy's just, I love him, and that's who I'm going to be watching tomorrow. One last thing before we go. Huska, look at Huska. Should we give Aiden a shot? No. If you're going to do that, let's see what Kenny Pickett has. He's a former number 1. Remember all you guys who, yeah, we need Ty Simpson. Okay. Well, that's what you were saying 5 years ago when Kenny Pickett was playing for Pittsburgh. Everybody was on. Remember when he did the fake slide, the fake.
Yeah.
And got up and ran, and he was on every highlight film.
Touchdown.
Yeah, we need Kenny Pickett. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers sipped the Kool-Aid, and where's Kenny Pickett now? He's
back in Geno.
Number 1 quarterback pick. Okay. Achilles Smith for you old people. Okay. There's been lots. Anthony Richardson. There's been lots. Justin Fields. There's been lots. And Kyler Murray. There's been lots. So just remember what you wish for. Because if you screw this up, you screw this pickup, Raider fans, you'll be put back another 5 years. And then I'll probably die before they make the playoffs. And it's all about me and my kids.
It is.
And nepotism.
Speaking of Kyler Murray, how would you feel if he was the Raiders quarterback next year?
No, thanks.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Yeah.
Nope. And I've heard rumblings, and it's really a talk around the Raiders. So, yep. What's up, El Capitano Rafucho? How you doing, man? Thank you for coming in. I do not want a Kyler Murray-led offense. Too small. When was the last time he actually finished a season?
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely.
Always hurt.
Yeah.
So, Oracle, will I see you on Sunday for the recap show?
Yeah, you will, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. We want to talk about it. Yeah.
Oracle is getting many run. Lots of people love the Oracle. Very well known right now, and I appreciate him hanging out with me. So we will see you guys. I'm staying at the Excalibur.
Okay.
So we'll be going live from the Excalibur on Sunday, right after the game. I'm not gonna make a decision on this game. I'm
not either. I'm done with that.
Let's just say that we hope it's close.
We hope it's close.
And you know what? It's been kind of fashionable for the Raider fans now to say that they want them to lose out. Pete Carroll doesn't think that way.
No. I don't want them to. I don't want them to lose. I'm not a big believer that I think you could find good players all throughout the draft. I mean, Brock Bowers was the 13th overall pick in the draft. You could find good players all throughout the first round. There have been plenty of players in the top 5 who have not panned out. Tyree Wilson was the 7th overall pick, and Brock Bowers picked 13th. And who's the better player? So,
yep, Cleve Farrell. Remember Cleve Farrell? How about Jonathan Abrams? Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of those. So, Oracle, you have a wonderful evening.
Hey, question for you, Johnny. Do you have a go-to hot chocolate?
I do. Swiss Miss.
Swiss Miss. Okay. All right. Cool.
Swiss Miss, because it's got like the marshmallows in it.
Okay.
And I love hot chocolate. I love chocolate milk. Anything chocolate, I love. I love it like anything. Can I say chocolate? YouTube, can will you break up our beautiful little soiree? Because I say chocolate, Swiss Miss chocolate. It's at the end of the show. They can jump me. All right, Oracle. I will see you on. I will be leaving at 4:00 in the morning on Sunday.
All right.
And I will be at the top of 246. I will also go live at the tailgate. I'll probably go Facebook Live, because most of our fans are boomers. So I'll go Facebook Live on that. But I'm gonna go to the Dark Side tailgate. I can't remember what lot it is. I think it's in lot F. I believe it's in lot F. And so I'm going to be definitely going to that. Let's see. No chin. We might win. Huska. And David Freitas, 24-13. So that means I should take the under?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't checked the over-under, but
you would think with 24-13, I bet it's 36.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was a low-scoring game last time, and that was in Denver.
I got it right here. Thank you for asking. Broncos are 7.5 favorites. The over/under is 40.5, and that's minus 410 on the money line.
Wow.
For the Broncos.
So that is the under.
$100 on the Raiders to win, and they win. You win 320 simoleons.
Yeah.
So if you've got that kind of money, let's see. Brock Bowers has 1,767 receiving yards for his NFL career. Bowers needs 107 receiving yards to pass Rob Gronkowski for the third most by a tight end in their first 2 seasons. The only people that have more than Gronkowski is Mike Ditka at 1980. And George Kittle at number 2 at 1892. Oh, he could actually go to number 1.
Yeah, definitely. 100. I mean, he's got what, 4 games for 107 yards? Yeah, definitely. I mean, that should be. That should be pretty.
Well, hold on. 873, 18. Okay, Mike Ditka 1980, George Kittle with 1892. Oh. Let's see some other notes for the game. Bo Nix has an 86.5 passer rating over the Broncos' 9-game winning streak. I don't give a crap about him. Max Crosby leads all edge rushers with 38 run stops and 21 run stops this season. Crosby's 38 run stops are tied for second most in the NGS era since 2016, with the only higher mark through week 13 from Crosby's 2022 season. So he's breaking his own records.
Now, one thing I'm going to be curious about this week with his injury in the knee is he not going to play the usual snap count that he does. I mean, he usually plays in the 90 percentile of snap counts. Is he maybe going to be in the 70s or the 60s? Are they going to put more Charles Snowden, Malcolm Kuntz, and Tyree Wilson in place to kind of give him a little bit of a rest? Do you think that's going to happen?
It all depends. Max Crosby's not a guy that's going to sit down, going to want to be on the sidelines. He's just that guy. I remember, I think it was last year when they said that he wasn't even going to play against Kansas City because he had a bad leg, and he came out and played the game. Kind of didn't play very well, but he played the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, all right, Oracle. I will see you Sunday, we'll probably say around 4:30 to 5. We'll go
Okay.
live. Those shows are bombing, guys. The Sunday shows are starting to become our best shows.
Nice.
But the Geek Squad is through for the night. I will see you on Sunday. Thanks to everybody for coming, and watch it on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube if you want, and we'll talk to you later. Good night now.
Good night now.
Now it's Ciani to the left. Biletnikoff to the right against Marsalis. Back is LaMonica. Throws for Biletnikoff. Touchdown Raiders! Biletnikoff is having words right now with Marsalis. Fred caught that ball after quite a physical battle with Marsalis in the right corner of the end zone. He went on out of the end zone, and then instead of slamming the ball into the turf, he ran back in about 10 yards to where Marsalis was and defiantly slammed it in the turf in front of Marsalis. The two tight ends are lined up as tight ends. Back goes Darrell to pass. He's looking for Smith, but instead goes down the middle. Chester, touchdown Raiders! Holy Toledo, what a great ball! 19 yards and a Raider touchdown to make it 22-3. Chester had gotten free at the 5 and was all alone in the end zone 2 yards in. The Chargers now have a brilliant opportunity to put this game away. Here's Williams to the left, Garrison to the right, flanks right, Charlie Smith out to the left as a wingback, leaves only one back to block, that's Hubbard. LaMonica back, gets fine blocking, now he throws down the middle, Branch at the 20. Branch at the 18, tripped up, keeps going, reverses to the 15, he's at the 10, he dances down to the 9-yard line. First and goal to go Raiders. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and hang on to your hats. Branch is still in. He goes to the right, slotted inside Biletnikoff. 5 defensive backs in there. LaMonica gives to Smith, sending him to the left. He's got Upshaw in front. He's at the 5. He's at the 2. It's a touchdown Raiders! Charlie Smith from 9.5 yards out. Oakland has gone in front. Clarence Davis is in for Charlie Smith. He's a deep threat on pass reception. Back goes Stabler to pass. Steps away from the rush. He's going to run up the left side. 30, 25,